Okay, welcome back to the Ohio Business Podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Pohl. Today we are joined with Matt Ode. He is an entrepreneur, a personal trainer, and a motivational speaker, amongst other things. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me, Stephen.
Matt, you have a great story. You can tell it better than myself. So go ahead and introduce yourself and give us a background on your story.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm 29 now. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Stephen, where are you exactly located?
I'm in Columbus.
Columbus. Okay, yeah. So we're only 2 hours away. Not bad. So at 24, I was diagnosed with the highest stage of testicular cancer. At the time, I was personal trainer, extremely healthy. Woke up one night, I had minor back pains throughout the summer, and they grew worse. But one night I ended up puking up blood, got rushed to the emergency room. They did a blood test on me and found out I'd lost 2/3 of the blood circulating in my body, which is actually equivalent to being shot with a gun. They immediately put me on 6 bags of blood. I got rushed into an emergency surgery, and the next day I woke up to the doctor sitting next to me holding my hand, and he told me, Matt, we found an 11-centimeter tumor in your small intestine. We believe it is cancer, and we have to rush you to the main campus of the Cleveland Clinic immediately. So for anybody from Ohio, the clinic's like the top hospital, which thank goodness was right on my doorstep. So that's when I get rushed there. I remember real quick, I'll kind of get into some detail. I remember it was just me and my parents at the time. And I just remember seeing them crying, and I was only dating my now fiance, Lauren, for only 2 months. And, I just had all this like built up, like anger, frustration, uncertainty in my life. And I think for a lot of us men, we tend to really hold in our emotions when it comes to traumatic or difficult experiences, whether it's business, whether it's our relationship, whether it's our health, whatever it might be, because we want to be this strong individual for the people that we love, the people that we care about. And for me, all it did was create more anxiety, created more depression, created more, anger and stress into my life. And quickly I realized, when you're willing to open up to just one person, you don't have to do what I'm doing, going on podcast stuff, but when you're willing to open up to one person, that there's 2 ways to do it: to somebody that you know, like, and trust, or to somebody who can relate to you in that certain circumstance. So somebody, for my example, going through cancer, it's like a burden lifted off your shoulder. So I just wanted to kind of emphasize that real quick as I was going throughout my journey, because I really think it's important for any of you male and some female, but the females are a lot better than us at this, is just stop holding in all of your emotions when you're going through difficult times in life, because it will make a difference to just sharing it with one person. So for me, it was starting off by sharing it with Lauren, and she basically just told me she was, going to be my rock throughout the whole journey. So when I got to the doctors or when I got to the clinic, they did a bunch of blood tests. They did a bunch of, just random tests on me, and found out that my cancer had spread all across my body, and it was testicular cancer. So I immediately was put on 5 rounds of what's called BEP. It's just very intense, potent chemotherapy. Lasted about 3 months, had a lot of ups and downs during that time. And then after that is when all the massive complications happened in my life. I ended up having an 11-hour surgery to remove my tumor. And my tumor was wrapped around what's called my inferior vena cava, which is basically a central vein that goes from the bottom of your upper body to your heart. So they had to get 4 surgeons involved. It was 11-hour surgery. And when they did so, my body went into what's called compartment syndrome. It basically shut down. My kidneys and liver shut down. I had a cone drilled inside my head to relieve potential brain swelling. My body swelled up so much that they had to drain 7 liters of fluid out of my stomach. I ended up falling into a 2-week non-induced coma. Wow. And they thought I was going to be on dialysis the rest of my life. And long story short, and we can get more into detail if you want, but I ended up being in the ICU for over 40 days. A week out of my 2-week coma, I went into cardiac arrest when they went to take out one of the catheters in my neck, and they had to do 8 minutes of CPR on me. And I went back into another 1-week coma. When I woke up from that coma, it took me 2 weeks in the ICU from getting up off my bed to taking my first steps again, with 4 nurses every single day. And I ended up having 5 major surgeries in 30 days. And my last surgery was completely unexpected, where I was actually about to get released from the hospital. And I remember them wheeling me, not out of the hospital, but into my final stages of physical therapy. And my stitches burst open. Ooh. I had to get rushed back to the emergency surgery. They had to do what's called an open wound surgery on me. So they had to take out all of my abdominal muscles. They had to leave a football-sized mesh over my stomach, and I was back in the ICU for a few days. And eventually, after over 50 days in the hospital, over 40 days in the ICU, I was released. And in a matter of 8 months, from being this healthy personal trainer that people never thought was going to get sick, I was down to 110 pounds, basically skin and bones. And for the next 2 years, I had to completely learn to live my life again, mentally, emotionally, physically. And the biggest advice I can give was I had to focus on, number one, my mindset. And one of my favorite sayings is, everything in life happens for you, not to you. And here's what I mean by it. We're all going to get unfair news in our lives, whatever area. I pray nobody gets cancer, but I'm just saying we're all going to get unexpected, unfair news. But how are we going to take it? We can go two different directions. And if you say, why is this happening to me? It's easy to make excuses. It's easy to blame other people. If you're faith-based, I'm Christian, it's easy to blame God. And if you look at it the other way of saying, how is this happening for me? You can look at it as a lesson. You can become a better version of yourself, but more importantly, down the road, all those experiences, you can give back and help other people. And I had to change my mindset first, and then I was able to take action. And that's just anything in life, especially business. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, you better be changing all those limiting beliefs, all those fears in your lives first before you're ready to take action. Because the second you take action, you're going to get criticized. You're going to get people doubting you. You're going to have your own self-doubt. Even your success is going to bring doubt in your life. So for me, I had to focus on one little task a day. I did not get overcomplicated with myself. I said, what is one thing a day that is going to get me to where I need to be? And what it allowed me to do was it created momentum into my life. As I was consistent, I call it winning the day. As I was able to win the day and I kept winning the day, guess what that allowed me to do? It allowed me to win the week. And when I was able to win the week, next 2 to 3 weeks, I was able to eventually win the month. When I was able to win 7, 8, 9 months, I'm able to win the year. And before you know it, that time between a year, you're a totally different person in so many more positive ways. So I look at it as one small task a day brings momentum, then ultimately builds confidence into your life. And then it creates rituals and routines, which when you wake up, it's like, you already know what the hell you're doing. It's not like, it's kind of like an easy example is a personal trainer going to the gym. People dread going to the gym, but when you're consistent with it, you don't, after 4 or 5 months of you being consistent, you may not want to go, but you're already going. You're so confident and you already know. So that was me for 2 years. And after that, man, I realized that, I was kind of back to where I, healthy and things like that. And I realized that, I had a bigger purpose in my life. And I think anybody who's gone through something difficult in your life, just something challenging, it puts perspective and, a new drive into you. And for me, I was like, I sure as hell did not go through all of this to just go back to my normal job and to just live my life. I have something so much bigger in me. And that's where, man, I started surrounding myself directly with entrepreneurs. I didn't go into cancer community groups. I didn't go to therapists. I didn't do any of that. I surrounded myself with people that I wanted to be like. And I think in order to get to where you want to be in your life, you 100% need to either find somebody who's already at your destination or go in that way. And I said, I'm surrounding myself with these people. And they started to give me, I was deathly afraid to share my story, man, deathly afraid. And as I surrounded these guys and I started to have the courage to share it, they gave me the confidence. They're like, listen, man, you need to get on stages. You need to get on podcasts. You need to start helping other people in some way or capacity. And eventually I did so, man. And it's led me to a lot of incredible things, from speaking on stages to building a Facebook group of over 5,000 cancer patient survivors and caregivers, to coaching a lot of individuals, helping them create their own story, create their own message to really impact their clients and everybody around the world as well. So sorry, it was a little bit long, but that's like my 10-minute version.
Well, that's a crazy story and amazing. I don't want to touch on too much on the surgery aspect of it, but throughout that process, what would you say was the hardest part of it? Was it the just the actual surgeries, the cancer? Was it the mindset issue? Or just the overall just journey of it going in and day in
I
and
would say
day
the
out?
emotional and mental journey physically was brutal, obviously, I mean, going through all those surgeries and having to, regain my strength. But if I wasn't able to mentally prepare myself and really get myself in the right mindset, I was never able to take action. I'll tell you a quick story. So after that hospital, I, about a week and a half in, got rushed back to the emergency room because I didn't have the accountability of nurses and doctors every day. And, I started to become this victim mindset, man. It's easy. It's easy when you're going through shit in life to have this victim mindset. And for me, I just was like, I had this why me mentality. I blamed a lot of people. And I found myself back in the hospital for an entire week. And when I came out, me and Lauren, came to the conclusion that, listen, Matt, if you aren't going to change your life around starting today, you probably will not be here next month. And I had literally a life or death like moment of, if I don't change my mindset right now, if I don't change the way that I'm viewing the direction of my life, none of the physical or actions are going to matter, because it's just, that's how you start everything.
And then going to those entrepreneurs telling you to go on the stage, but what was kind of that first event, or that first opportunity to speak? What was that opportunity? And kind of maybe walk through your feelings on how you approached it, and just the overall feeling of telling your story to an audience.
Absolutely, man. So I'll backtrack a little bit. So how it all started was, and you may know this person, you may not, I ran across a guy named Ed Milet. He's an entrepreneur. He's a motivational speaker. If you don't know him, go check him out. And his podcast was Broke to 400 Million. And it was somebody else interviewing him, and it caught my attention at the time. And I was like, oh shit, I got to watch this. I watched the video, and it was literally, dude, nothing about Broke to 400 Million. It was all the shit he went through. And he was able to be vulnerable about it, share how he got to where he was today. And I was like, I need to be in front of this guy. So I started looking up like how I could, I mean, he was really famous and he still is. So it was hard to just get one-on-one attention, which I never got. But he started this mentorship or this mastermind, and it was called the Arte Syndicate. And I joined it, and there was a bunch of entrepreneurs in there. And that's where I met a guy, his name's Nick, and he introduced me to other masterminds and other groups that were going on. And I found another like young adult. This one was just kind of like all over the place. There's a lot of people in it, and it got a little overwhelming. So he introduced me to a younger, one that was just starting up. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. And, so then I started talking to them, and they were like, hey man, we're hosting an event. This was about probably a year after the initial mastermind. So they're like, hey man, when we're hosting an event, it's in Miami. We got about 250 people. We know that you've been getting on some podcasts and, just sharing your story on social media, but dude, you need to get yourself on a live stage. And I was like, oh shit. Yeah, I know I do. And they're like, come here. We want you here. You're going to be like our keynote guy, and you're going to share your story. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, all right, let's fucking do this. Like, sorry, let's do this. And,
You're good.
Yeah. And I literally, went down to Miami, and next thing you knew, I was, in front of about 250 young adults that were all, inspiring entrepreneurs, some extremely successful entrepreneurs for their age group. And dude, I'm going to tell you right now, man, the power of story is the most powerful thing you could ever imagine, man. And I'll tell you this. There were guys there that had been speaking, and I'm not knocking them at all, but there were guys there that had been speaking for 10, 12, 15 years, but they were speaking more on like information, speaking more on like how to get leads, how to draw sales, how to do automation, delegation, all that stuff, all that great stuff. And then I'm over here, and I changed the whole field up, and I share my whole story. And dude, every single person was like, you were the best one. And I was shaking, dude. I guarantee you, I was not the most polished speaker by any means. I was probably the worst speaker there because it's my first time ever getting on stage, but I had a story.
Yeah.
And remember, people remember your stories. And dude, I'm not even kidding you. Probably 25 to 50, anywhere between 25 to 50 people walked up and just opened up things they never talked about in years, talking about how their parents were alcoholics and they had to deal with that, talking about how they went through certain traumatic experiences, talking about, dude, it was, and right then and there, I knew, shit, this is what I'm meant to be doing. So that was the powerful first time speaking.
Wow. I mean, like why I do this podcast is, give other entrepreneurs a chance to tell their story. Cause like storytelling is what business, being a, business owner is. If you, especially if you have a product, but the story behind the product, like if you ever read Shoe Dog, Phil Knight's autobiography on how, Nike came about, it's a powerful message on how, how he struggled to create Nike, like what Nike is today.
Wasn't it in the back of his van or something that he started?
I read it like 2 years ago, so I don't fully remember.
I don't either,
which I should, but but it was like a crazy journey of like him just flying to Japan, and like he got married his wife, and then he just got super fat, and then he would go on these nightly jogs that would clear his head, and it was just like it's a great read, highly recommend it. But it's just the importance of storytelling. It's powerful, just not just for consumer make money type of aspect, but from a inside motivational standpoint, you hear your own story, it can motivate yourself and motivates others. It's all just good energy in the entrepreneurial space, and it's just good. It's a good thing, you know what I mean?
It is, man. I think you're finding now that people buy through brand awareness, more or less. Like they want to know the story behind you, man. They want to know like what is your real mission behind this? Is it just to make money? Because if it is, if you're only I want people to make billions of dollars, but if that's your only purpose and you don't have a true meaning behind it, people are going to see right through your bullshit. They're going to see that you don't care about them. They're going to see that all you want is their money, and your customers are never going to actually be customers. They're just going to be a reoccurring different people all the time. And you're going to have to keep trying different routines, different things. So you need to have a mission. You need to have a vision. I always say you need to have a powerful story behind it. And that's why I'm helping others do that. So.
Now, are you coaching entrepreneurs as well?
Yeah, I just started helping different coaches and entrepreneurs. So my whole objective is to take their story, their own unique story. Like I said, you don't have to go through something crazy like me. You all have your own unique story, and use it to brand yourself. Use it to attract the perfect clients into your life. Because I'm going to tell you right now, your story and your vision is not going to attract everybody. And stop trying to attract everybody. Be yourself in the process, and the right people will come. And then you can start off with, your niche, and then it can grow and can grow and grow. Look at Amazon. Jeff Bezos started off with books and doing like, online book, things where you can purchase.
Orders, yeah.
And now look at him. He's the biggest, brand in the entire world. So you have to realize that, your mission and your story, and that's what I'm helping people with, is figure out what your story is. Let's use it to market yourself. And a lot of people, they just say, hey, I want to help somebody with this, but they don't use their own past or their background to do it, and it's not like you had to have gone through something. It could be something you're passionate about too. What are the two things? It's either something you're passionate about, or it's something that is meaningful to you that you've overcame that you're also passionate about. So yeah, man, that's what I'm really starting to push now and helping different coaches and entrepreneurs with.
It's a great message. I always thought all you need is 1% of a certain demographic or region or whatnot. Because if you get 1% of the world, you got how many? What is that? Like almost, a bunch of millions. So
1% of the world is gonna get you at least 100 million.
Yeah, so that's all you need right there. And if you're going for 1% of your city, that's gonna probably do you just as fine. You know what I mean?
Perspective. Say you do high ticket coaching or something like that, high ticket offers. So say your coaching program is $5,000. We'll just put that perspective. Just easy money. $5,000, dude. You get 10 people. Right there is $50K. That's what most people make in a year. And I've seen people do that in shit, man. I said 10 people. I've seen that happen in a day. You know what I mean? Like, put things in perspective, and don't ever underestimate yourself either. You need to, I know at first you're going to be like, I don't have the credibility. I need all these certifications, blah, blah, blah. No, you need to be passionate about something, have some type of expertise that you've got. Like I said, find something you're passionate about, or find something that you've gone through. You have that experience in you. And then just use it to help other people, man. I always recommend starting off with high ticket, just because then you can get more personable one-on-one. And then you can, as you get 5, 6, 7 clients, you can turn it into group coaching, so that your time and your energy, which is your most important currency in life, your most important things that you should protect, you can then delegate and say, hey, listen, I'm doing coaching program and I'm only taking 10 people on. So I'm only taking 10 people on for one-on-one, and then I'll have as many on for coaching. And maybe, you know, it goes from there. I don't know, whatever you want to do, but that's just an opportunity for a lot of people to make money and, you know, puts things in perspective.
So after that first initial speaking event in Miami, kind of what was your game plan after that? Were you just going to go straight forward with, doing the conferences, or you did take time to kind of develop that process? Like, kind of walk me through.
Yeah. So I was all set and ready to start going live, my whole mission at that time, get on stages. And of course, COVID hits.
Yeah.
And so then everything kind of went to shit. And, you know, I had to realize really quickly that online was the way to go. And, you know, for me, I started off with, okay, maybe there's some online events or whatever, but I was finding myself with more podcasts, which is incredible. But it's just like, if you're trying to get paid, like, you know, you have to try and find some other ways to do things. And in online speaking, there's very, very few, unless you were like a veteran speaker where people were paying you to speak at the time. So I was doing a ton of podcasts. I was doing online speaking, but I said, you know what? I need to start doing more mentorship. And that is where actually in the beginning of this time last year, I was actually mentoring survivors and patients, cancer survivors and patients, because for me, the biggest thing that I went through, I would say, like you said, what was the biggest struggle? The first thing I said, and the second biggest struggle I had was figuring out what was next in my life, figuring out what my new purpose was, my new direction. And I knew that I was not alone in that. And I knew there was a lot of survivors and patients out there that felt that. So I started coaching them. I started getting in front of them. And, you know, it didn't feel right to charge them just because of everything they were going through and the financial situation, but they were paying and they were getting incredible results, and no doubt about it. But for me in my heart, I wanted to build something bigger. And that's where in October of 2020, I started a Facebook group. It took me 2 months, 3 months to have the courage to even start it, because, you know, you're the head honcho and everything. But, yeah. You know, slowly but surely, man, just like I told you before, one little thing a day, I posted every single day, gave some type of value, all of it free, and just built a community, man. And I had a virtual assistant with me too. So she helped me do a lot of the outreaching and leads. And next thing you know, now we have nearly 5,000 people in the group. And dude, it hasn't even been 9 months yet. And it's just, dude, it's been a whirlwind of a journey, but it's brought opportunities. It's brought so much experience. And I recommend anybody out there, call me crazy, but give everything out for free. I don't care. Give it all out for free, because at the end of the day, it's not about the information. It's about the implementation. People aren't going to want you for the information. They can go find that on Google. They can go find that on YouTube. But when they say, I want something unique in my life that you can tailor to help me take action, help me hold myself accountable, that's where a coach comes into play. So when I tell you go out and just share all of it, that's where you're going to attract everybody. You're going to attract them because they're like, damn, this dude is giving me shit that nobody else is. I wonder what he's like when I actually get in front of him and coaching. And it's going to be incredible, because now you can actually help them, you know, take action. And that's what I was doing, was just giving everything out for free. And then instead of me now coaching the survivors and patients, I'm now helping other entrepreneurs. And that's my whole objective, man.
You know, for the entrepreneurs that you're coaching, what is like kind of the perfect type of entrepreneur that, you know, would be kind of best suited for your type of coaching? Like somebody starting off, somebody who's like hit a rut. What would you kind of say?
I'm just starting this too, so this is like brand new to me. So I'll tell you exactly who my ideal one is. I would say it's an entrepreneur that's probably our age. I mean, I'll give you the exact like perfect client. It would be an entrepreneur our age that has gone through a challenging moment in their life. Does not have to be cancer, but a challenging moment in their life. And they're trying to figure out, how do I use that part of my life to start impacting and helping other people? And that's what I say is, I want to help you use your story, use your past to craft a message that will authentically attract and impact the ideal client. And that basically just means is, hey, whatever experience you've gone through in life and you have this passion in you, like I did, and I'm sure you've gone through something where you have this passion now to help other people, let's dial in on that. let's really focus in on that. And then let's go through the whole process of getting in front of the right people, getting that message nice and clear to them, and, you know, becoming the person that you know you want to be. You know, at the end of the day, the most fulfillment you'll ever have is when you're helping people, but when you're helping them through something that's meaningful to you. That is when you'll have true fulfillment in your life. So that's my ideal client.
That's well put. I like that. That was nice. Kind of, what is something that you kind of wish you knew before you started this entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah.
Or something you would tell yourself before you started?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what I would tell myself is we underestimate what we can accomplish in about 5 to 10 years, but we overestimate what we can accomplish in a week, in a month, or even a year. So I'm going to say that again. We overestimate what we can accomplish in the micro of our journey. So the first year of your business, I'm going to tell you right now, is mindset and failure. That's it. Mindset and failure, and it's lessons. Failures equals lessons. Your greatest lessons in life is your failure. So what I'm trying to say is people are like, I'm going to be this, and some, maybe you will, this great if you are, but don't, like, if you aren't a 6-figure or a 7-figure entrepreneur after the first year of your business, that's why most businesses fail. It's because people overestimate what they think they can do in that short period of time. And they think that they're just going to be the successful person, and it's that easy, and it's fucking not. And then within 5 to 10 years though, after you've built your connections, after you've learned and failed so much, after you've gained this courage in you, this like, this rock of like, hey, listen, like, you know, I know people are going to drag me down. I know people, my loved ones are going to question me every single day. They're going to think that I'm some crazy person. After 5 to 10 years, you drown out that, and you know that, you know, you're on the right path. And, you know, dude, I'm only two years into this, and, you know, I mean, nowhere near where I want my income and things like that. But what I'll tell you is what I really gained is my mindset and my vision, and, you know, having the courage to just take what's called imperfect action, meaning taking action and failing along the way. So that would be my best advice is when I started off, because I had all these, dude, I wanted to be like a 7-figure business owner by this time. And it just didn't, it wasn't going to happen. Some people are, but I would say 95% of the people are not. You have to go through the process, and it's okay. Get dirty, get messy, put yourself out there, build some, you know, courage in yourself. So that's what I would tell people in the beginning. You know, it takes time. Be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. When you see these overnight successes, really quick, when you see these overnight successes, they're never overnight successes. I can almost promise you, you see people with Lamborghinis or all this money or whatever, half of them is fake. Yeah. And the other half spent 15 years grinding when nobody saw them. Yeah. And now you see them. So.
I mean, that is so true. I mean, myself included, you think you're going to, you know, you give them the opportunity, you know, you put the game plan in front, you know, out there, and you just expect massive, you know, returns quickly. And realistically, it's a slow burn, a real slow burn. And the lessons, you know, along the way, really, like when I first started out, I had so many ideas and whatnot. They were just simply unrealistic. But, you know, the longer you're in the game, the more, you know, precise your thinking is and your plan becomes. And, you know, if it started like a side business, you know, a side project, you know, if you have enough money to start something, it's going to take a long time, but the longer you're in it, the more likely it will succeed, you know, unless you're like burning a ton of money. But
yeah, I mean, if you have $200 million and you can, you know, build a team, get, you know, spend $50,000 to join incredible masterminds and do all this stuff. Yeah, your time's going to go a little quicker, but most people don't just have $1 million sitting in their account where they can just go and spend it, you know? Yeah. So, but I will say this, never diminish your dream. That dream you have, make it as big as you possibly can. I always say, make your dream so big that you can fit everybody you want inside of that dream. And, you know, that's the importance of it, but don't, like, just like we talked about, it's just not going to happen in, you know, a short period of time. It's going to take some time, but stay focused. Cause a lot of times when people are like, you know, what's your why? I like that. I mean, it can be corny, but it's also, you know, it's true. What's your why? What it really means to me is, what is it that when you wake up in the morning and you feel like absolute shit and you don't want to do any of the work, yeah, in the back of your mind, you can go to that place where, for me, I want to start an organization one day. I'll tell you right now, this is my biggest dream. I want to have the most successful organization to help financially help families whose young adults and children have been impacted by cancer. You think I'm just going to be able to magically wake up and do that? Hell no. It's going to take a lot. But you know what? I'm so passionate about that when I have days that I'm down and days that I don't feel like I'm making the progress or I'm getting beat up or a lot of criticism, I look right at that vision and I say, hey, listen, that is so much bigger than all the crap I'm going through right now. Or I can look back at my difficult times in cancer and say, hey, listen, I could be back there too. And it instantly brings perspective into my day.
So that's the big picture. Do you have any other plans, in the coming, year, couple years that you see pursuing?
Yeah, absolutely. So couple of big things. Number one, I want to get on live stages again. So that's a big thing. Number two, within the next 2 years, I want to have a book. So I'm just in the very beginning stages and I want to really have it published and everything within the next 2 years. And number three, I want to really expand in my coaching business, but make it more than a coaching business. I want to create like a community where it's kind of hard to explain, man. I want to be able to build like retreats, kind of like you notice like Tony Robbins and all of that, like
Yeah.
they do some incredible work. I want to build retreats like that for my specific reason, for helping people get their story out to the world. And I want to have retreats where I bring on insanely cool guest speakers, celebrities, things like that. That's going to maybe be a more 3 to 5 year vision, but who knows? I don't know where it's going to lead me, but I have these goals, and the book, the speaking on live stages, and really building my coaching program, no doubt is 2 years. The retreats, maybe that's a little bit more down the road, but I don't know. So,
as we kind of wrap up the podcast, what is your greatest success and your greatest failure as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. My greatest success as an entrepreneur, I would say, is definitely the community I built through Facebook. I'll be honest, man, I made zero money off of it, but it's the most fulfilling thing I've ever done. Dude, I don't even have to post in there, and there'll be 15, 20 posts in that group of just people with so much love and support, man. So much love and support. And that's what it's all about, And I have this acronym, and it's by a guy named Jim Quick, and it's HOPE. It's help one person every day. And what it means is don't ever underestimate the power of helping one person, because by you giving value to one person, they can take the knowledge you've given them and share it to other people. And by the time you help 10 people, you probably actually helped 100. By the time you've helped 100, you probably actually helped 1,000. So for me, building this Facebook group, man, like subconsciously, I probably helped thousands of people. And I just, I thank God every day for giving me the courage to start this, because dude, it took me 3 months, literally 3 months to have the courage to start it. So that would be my biggest success. My biggest failure is, I would say my biggest failure is probably the fact that when things aren't going my way, I've tended really hard to procrastinate. And when I say procrastinate, man, like take days off of complaining, becoming the victim. And I'm telling you guys, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be pissed off at something in your business. But if you live in that situation like I did for days and weeks at a time, that's what causes anxiety, depression, true mental health problems. That's why a lot of these businesses fail, is because people don't know how to get out of their rut, because they like to have that victim mentality almost. It's almost like they like that comfort zone. And the second I realized that the only person that was there to save me was myself. Nobody else was going to pick me up and just carry me through. It was me. Was when I stopped having a pity party and I started pushing myself forward. So I would say it was a negative mindset and limiting beliefs that dictated my path at the time, until I realized that I was the only person that was going to pick myself up and push myself forward.
Beautifully put, honestly. Is there anything else you want to focus on, discuss?
Man, we covered a lot today. I love these business podcasts. I've been doing a ton of cancer ones. So I like these ones are like, it gets me going, because I love the aspect of like getting your story out and all of this. Because usually when I'm on like a cancer podcast, it's just me sharing my story, which I've done so much. So it's fun, but it's not like this. So I just want to say thank you for having me, man. And I'll tell anybody out there, you know, this is a famous thing that I've heard from an entrepreneur, and it is, you are enough in your moment right now. Meaning all of the things that you've gone through in your life, all of the things that you say, oh, if I could have, or if this would have happened, was all meant to bring you to where you're at today. Don't ever underestimate all of the struggle and the failure you've had that has brought you to who you are today. Because at the end of the day, in order to get to where you want in your life, you're going to need to fail. You're going to need to be broken down. You're going to need to go through a lot of struggle and pain. You know, if you just took an easy road every day, there would be no fulfillment. There'd be no joy. You would just have this path of everything given to you. So just remember, you know, where you're at today, everything's molded you to where you are. And, you know, where you're going forward, you're meant to be so much greater. So that's
ready to run through a wall, man. You had great messages, man. I love it. I honestly needed some of that. Oh, I get something popped up on me, but you got a great message, man. I love it.
Thank you, man.
How can people find you? How can they reach out to you? Find the Facebook group, all of that.
Yeah. So to find me on all social media, except for the Facebook group, which I'll say in a second, just go to my website. It's Matt Ode, MATTODE speaks.com. It has all of my social media handles. And also, if you want to connect with me for speaking, there's a section on there as well. So I'd love to do that. You know, for coaching, if you are a coach, if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to get your story out there and really craft it and get it to the right people, shoot me a direct message through Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, any of those. And you can, once again, go to my website for that. And if you've been impacted by cancer in any way, whether you're a caregiver, a patient, or a survivor, please try to, you know, send me a request to join my group. And the group is called Cancer Patient/Survivor, Taking Back Your Life from Cancer. And I can give you the link, Stephen, if you want. So
yeah, I'll put that in the show notes.
Cool.
For sure. Well, thanks again for coming on. Powerful message. Make sure you hit him up if you need coaching. But thanks again for coming on, man.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Stephen. I appreciate you having me.